You're not an expat, you're an immigrant. Immigrant is associated with the racial stereotypes. Call yourself what you really are. The name AZ Nomads is ridiculous. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, I'm sure you've seen these comments. Some of them are more than friendly. Others, not so much. And honestly, they all revolve around the same question. What am I? Am I an expat? Am I an immigrant? Am I a nomad? This is your first time here. I'm Chad. Welcome to the channel. My wife Sam and I have been living in Mexico full time for over 5 years now. So today, I want to explain why these words have become so controversial and why my own answer to what I am has changed over time. But to understand why I've changed my opinion, we first have to understand what the words actually mean. Because I think people actually have completely different conversations using the exact same words. Let's start with the word that seems to generate the most debate, expat. Traditionally, an expat or expatriate is defined simply as someone that lives outside of their home country. Today, a lot of people use it differently. Some people use it as someone just living abroad occasionally. Other people talk about someone that is working overseas. Some people don't like using the word at all. They feel like people use the word to avoid calling immigrants immigrants.
Immigrants, we get the job done.
One criticism I hear is that Americans tend to call themselves expats, while anybody moving to the US are called immigrants. The argument is that using the word expat creates a double standard, and I guess I can see why people do see it that way. Personally, I don't think the word expat is a dirty word at all. It's a legitimate word with a long history used by millions of people around the world. If you don't like the word, then just don't use it. I mean, that's completely your choice. But telling everyone else they shouldn't use it because you've decided it should mean something different, that doesn't quite sit right with me. Words don't use their accepted definition just because a few people want to use a different meaning. Personally, I don't think expats and immigrants are actually competing words. They can actually be words that are used for the same journey. That's exactly what happened to Sam and I. Now let's talk about the word immigrant. This word has become completely politicized. Oxford defines the word immigrant as someone who comes to live permanently in another country. That's not an insult. That's not something to be ashamed of. It's simply a description. And honestly, I think this is where a lot of these conversations get mixed together. People often use the word immigration when they mean to talk about illegal immigration. And those are two completely different things. Growing up in the United States, I'll admit I had a bit of a blind spot for the word immigrant. It seems to be constantly caught up in some type of a heated political debate everywhere you turn. But when Sam and I started to go through the process, my opinion changed. I actually realized that it's a fairly simple concept, even though the process may not be simple at all. Each country has the right to decide who can live there and under what conditions. And as a guest, it's my responsibility to follow those rules. I don't see any contradiction in believing countries should enforce their immigration laws while still believing that immigration can be a great thing. Sam and I decided to make Mexico our home. We had to qualify under Mexico's laws. Mexico didn't care where we came from. It only cared that we qualified under Mexico's requirements. And despite what people think, Mexico has some pretty hefty requirements to become a resident here, as opposed to what this commenter seemed to have thought. In 2026, if you're applying through the financial solvency route, you're generally looking at around 80,000 pesos per month in income for temporary residency, or roughly 1.3 million pesos in savings. For permanent residency, it's roughly 134,000 pesos per month in income, or 5.4 million pesos in savings. These aren't insignificant numbers. Every country has the right to say what the requirements are to their country. The systems are different, but the principles are all very similar. Many people don't realize that being allowed to live in a country versus being allowed to work in a country are often two completely different things. Just because you're allowed to live in a country doesn't automatically mean that you get to take someone else's job in that country. Those are usually separate legal processes. And that's exactly what Sam and I did. We went through Mexico's process. Personally, there's laws that I really think should be changed. But whether it's an American living in Mexico or a Mexican living in the United States, I believe the same principle applies. If you choose to make another country your home, you must respect that country's laws. So what about the word nomad? Well, thankfully, this one's a lot easier. When Sam and I left Arizona, we weren't planning on moving to Mexico. Mexico was just a stop along the way. And then, who knows? Maybe Belize, maybe Spain, Portugal, Southeast Asia. We honestly had no idea where we were going to end up. The goal was definitely not to move somewhere permanently. The goal was to build a nomadic life, hopefully travel around the world a bit, and we could work remotely from pretty much anywhere as long as we had a good internet connection. But then something happened that we never expected. We fell in love with Mazatlan. What started as a stop slowly became home. And somewhere along the way, the adventure changed. So when people tell me, you're not really a nomad anymore, honestly, they're right. So what am I today? Had you asked me 5 years ago, I would have said, I'm a nomad. If you asked me after we've been living here for a few years, I would have said, I'm an expat. We had no plans of living here permanently, and I think the term expat described exactly what we were. But today, Mazatlan is my home, and I feel very proud to call myself an immigrant to Mexico. Sometimes you leave home looking for an adventure, and instead, you find another home. Somewhere along the way, it stopped feeling like an extended trip. We stopped talking about where we're gonna go next. We bought a home here. We built friendships here. And maybe most importantly, we earned the right to be here by following Mexico's laws. But for us, that was just the beginning. We've tried to become part of the community. We didn't move here expecting Mexico to be like Arizona. We moved here because we love Mexico, not because we want to change it, because we love it the way it already was. We're learning the language. We're trying to understand the culture, the history. We'll always be guests in someone else's country, which means we have a lot more to learn than to teach. We have tried to be good neighbors. And to me, that is what it truly means to be an immigrant. Whether someone calls me an immigrant, an expat, tells me I'm no longer a nomad, I'm okay with all of it because I don't think the words are enemies. I think they just describe different chapters of the same journey. And for us, that journey started with a dream of traveling around the world. It led us to Mexico, and somewhere along the way, Mexico became home. I will still get comments of people asking, well, why is the channel called AZ Nomads if you guys don't travel full-time anymore? The answer is simple, because that's who we were when we began this journey. We left Arizona planning to be full-time nomads. Instead, we found home, and Mexico found a place in our hearts. I could change the name of the channel, but honestly, every time I see AZ Nomads, it reminds me of where we were when the channel began and when this amazing journey started for us. Speaking of AZ Nomads, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Gord who made this sign for us. Let us know in the comments what you think of the sign. And for those of you that have been following the channel, yes, that is the same Gord that let us know that we should be stopping at Kioscos when we do our OXO challenge. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll post it here above us. It's a riot. Sam and I get smashed and decide to go on a walk through Mazatlan. The idea was to just stop at all the OXXOs, and my buddy Gord went, well, you should stop at Kioscos too. Yeah, it was fun.
Never, ever listen to anybody named Luke or Gord.
May never do it again. May put a big group together next year to do it. Who knows? Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.